It's so nice to
Hello.
connect.
Finally, I know. I feel like it's been like
I
a long
know.
time coming.
Are you still in Brooklyn?
I am.
Yes.
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Bushwick, the land of techno.
Is it the land of techno?
It's crazy. Like I have lived here for over 20 years, and
Whoa.
now in my travels, it's like eyes on Brooklyn. Like, you know what I mean? It's like this
Really?
weird, yeah. Like at least where I'm playing all over the country, and like even out of the country. Like people
Yeah.
just know
Because you
everything about every club here.
really like what are the wait? Sorry, let me close this door. I hear kids screaming. Hold on.
There's kids screaming everywhere.
What are the go-to clubs there? Like what clubs do you love playing?
I mean, there's just a lot, but my favorite clubs, you know, where I've been for a while is I've been playing Good Room for years, and like it just kind of gets better and better. And
Hell
like
yeah.
more people like dance music now. I'm sure you know this. This is
Yeah.
not new to you. And like it's pretty cool that it's just getting bigger and bigger. So like there's so much here. That's one of my favorites nowadays is a huge one that I love.
What is it
Uh,
called?
it's called Nowadays.
Oh, nowadays. Okay. Where have
It's
I? Okay.
it's a good
Yeah.
one. Where else? Where else do I go?
What about what is the one that has multiple rooms? It's in
Elsewhere?
Brooklyn. Elsewhere, yeah. What about elsewhere?
Yeah, I actually just played like the best night there this weekend.
Why was it
With
the best night?
it was just like that's a really I love Elsewhere. It's huge.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to kind of get the right vibe there. And we did Zach Fox's night sport mode where he booked every room in the whole club.
Whoa.
It's just the crowd and the people and the music. Like he just did a really good job of curating the lineup,
Wow.
and everybody in there was cute and nice, and it was just like a good
What a win.
night. And
That
I
is
was, you know, when you just
awesome.
have like the best night with friends of playing music, and you're just like, oh, okay, I feel better about everything now.
Hell
So
yes. Oh, where like maybe you might be physically depleted, but you're emotionally
I was physically
fueled.
depleted
Yeah,
by far.
for
Like,
sure.
like I was like,
But
I've
you're
been
fueled
so busy
emotionally.
that earlier in the night I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this tonight. Like, I'm gonna go, but I just want to curl up in a ball. I'm so tired.
It's kind of always how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
true.
And then you get there and you play like your first three songs, and you're like, okay, cool.
It's like it's honestly like taking hitting playing a CJ is like taking a drug. You're like, oh, like all of a sudden you just
Totally.
like have energy that you literally did not think you had 20 minutes ago.
Right.
It's
No
kind of
matter like how
it's
terrible
crazy.
you feel or
Totally.
like it's great.
Totally. So you, how often do you play? Like I see you play in the UK a bunch. Yeah. So how
I
like what is
was in
your?
the UK a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was in the UK so much to the point where I had like a room there in a friend's apartment
Whoa.
for a while because there was this weird like storm of me and my label winning the Red Bull Culture Clash out there in like
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
Then I got the BBC Radio 1 residency for a full year.
Oh my god, that was
So
for a
like
whole year. That wasn't for just like a month, and they called. Oh my god.
no, it they kept me. It used to be 6 months, and then they kept me another six.
So did you have
So
to record it out there too?
I did when I was there,
Oh
but
my god.
there were like actually
And it
at the
was BBC
same.
Radio 1, right?
Yeah, the
Dude.
residency. It was sick,
Dude.
and like
How did that happen? It's incredible.
you know what? It's so crazy because you know that was like one of the rare cold calls I've ever gotten. Like, you know how like everything you have to hit people up or not like you know someone like
Like your
wants to
team or
hook
like
me
yeah,
up, but
no, for sure.
your team or like you have a friend and you're like, "Hey, can you email me with this person?" Because you
Yeah.
really want to do it. Or like
Yeah.
this was just like random. It was like, "Hey, do you want to like come pilot?" And I was like, yeah, I
Had
had
you
a year's
been
time to
is
come
this
out.
something that you had put on your dream board or like had you
It was
want
like the number one, like, I love radio so much.
What?
So it was like the goal. As a
Did you
matter
just
of
freak
fact,
out when you got that email?
yeah, I had like a full meltdown. But the thing is before the lot radio, before like any of these things that there are now, I really wanted to do that kind of thing here, and I had like no outlet for it, and I made my own. I like made my own show with guests, and Red Bull eventually let me start recording it at their studio. And I just think that because I made a whole series of like my
Wow,
own
so
show,
cool. They're
like
like, yes.
somebody so people are always watching. That is like one thing I have to say, because you think nobody's watching you, and they're definitely watching you. So yeah, it was like a cool thing. I went and piloted because I was going to London anyways. So I went and did a pilot, and then like they emailed me back like 3 months later,
Were you
and
so
they're like,
nervous for that pilot?
yeah, I was because it's just you and some guy like hovering over you, and you're like DJing in a room. It's like totally weird.
What was your prep like for that?
I mean, I kind of like, I think it was a 30-minute prep, and
Wait, that's it?
I for a small pilot, yeah. And
Still impressive.
I put together like this tiny thing of like what the ideal Jubilee is. Like I was like, how can I make this
Ooh.
exactly what I do? And then I tried to talk about how much I loved everything and why as I was playing it. Um, I like listened to so much BBC Radio 1, so I was like, I'm Annie Mac, you know?
Dude, I am like I sort of started doing what I'm doing and entered the scene right as she was retiring, and I remember being like, no, like
Right.
if it ever works out for me, I'm never gonna get to, meet her. I still have. I'm still like, Annie Mac, I'm dying to say hi, my name is LP Giobbi to you.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
gotten to meet her?
I mean, she was like probably kicked off my career, to be honest. Like back in the day, she came to see me and like tweeted about me, and I got like so many followers afterwards, and then she booked me for a couple
No.
of her parties,
What?
and like
Are you
she's like
kidding
my
me?
hero. Yeah.
Dude, she's the first woman DJ that I'd ever heard of in Eugene,
Same.
Oregon. Yeah,
And
that's
like
so tight.
also like DJ that was really nice, and like
Yeah.
would come to New York and then go out and see other DJs and like tweet about them, aka me or whoever, you know?
God, that is
Like
so
I remember
cool.
her tweeting about Alice in Wonderland really early on too. I remember
God,
her
that
being
is
like,
so
I'm in Australia and I just saw the best DJ ever. And like I went to Alice in Wonderland's page because I was like, okay,
if
I want to know
Annie's
who
saying
this is,
this.
you
That is
know?
so awesome. So
Yeah.
how do you okay, let me just give you an overview. We're just gonna chat, and then I'm gonna read your blurb bio and ask you a few questions, and the bio and the questions, that portion will live on the radio show. So I might ask you a few of the same things, but just know like that's a separate
Okay.
for serious. Yeah. So what does a typical day look like for you? Because you do a lot. How do you balance between like producing and crate digging and working on your label, and like what do you have a schedule, or like how do you
I
make sure
mean,
you're attending
everything
to all
is
things?
pure chaos.
Hell yeah.
Because I also am a New Yorker, and I'm sure it's not a secret that it's really horrible and expensive to live here, and you have to do like more work than most people. So even though I'm like doing pretty well as a touring artist, I'm still doing like 100 other projects because you just have
Wow.
to like be
Wow.
comfortable here.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on the week, like sometimes I'm working on some freelance job for like 2 weeks, like editing things or whatever. Sometimes I have like nothing, so
Nice.
I think every day is different, but I try to wake up, I try to go for a run.
Nice.
I try. Um, I try to go outside because you can just get stuck in this dark cave that I'm in right now. And it's really easy to do that. And yeah, like I'm really funny with working on music. Like I go like 6 months sometimes without working on anything, and then I'll work for music on music for like 3 months.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
when do those times happen? Is like, does inspiration have to strike you, or like what does your schedule
I
have to free up?
think
What is it?
I don't know. Like it's really hard. It's funny. I live with my boyfriend who's also a producer. And
How is that?
I mean,
Amazing, probably in a lot of ways.
it's both. It's actually been really good because both of us have like found our little lane and understand each other. And
That's
he
awesome.
works on music like all day.
Okay,
And
so see,
like
I've toured with artists who are I've cohabited with artists who are producers who are literally all they're doing every day, all day long is producing. And when I see that, I get anxiety that I'm not making enough, like I'm not making enough stuff because it's just and it actually like I can't really be around that. It stresses me out.
I sometimes feel like that, but when I sit down, like if I sat down for 5 days in a row for like, 6 hours a day or whatever, I probably would just be sitting there like, haha, I have to sit here, So like, like this is school. And like, if I don't do that and I just like, sometimes I'll wake up and be like, oh, I had a weird dream. I have an idea. Or I'll think of something
Whoa.
on a train or a plane and like write it down or like say it in my voice note. Like I'm like very different in the way he does things. And a lot of people I know do things. But also, like I said, I've always done a million things. Like I do radio, I DJ,
Totally.
so I have a record label. So I'm not just a producer. I wouldn't even say it's my main thing.
Wow, awesome. I almost feel like when I have less time, I actually get more music work done
Yes,
versus like going and sitting at a desk with like, okay, I'm just gonna look at kick sounds and
totally.
then yeah. So I think that
I like think
being
the
really
busier
busy is
I am,
great.
like the better I do.
Yep.
Also, I am like a hoarder and like everything I put out like probably started 5 years ago and I don't like anything unless I put it away for like a month and then I have to pull it back out and be like, "Oh, that was actually really good." Or that's
Oh
terrible.
my
So
goodness.
like I have to like not give everything fresh ears like
Yeah.
constantly. So like
Yeah.
some of my new music I have coming out is from like it started in like 2020, but like I just can't quickly make a song.
Oh my God. See, I have to if I don't just get it out, I hate everything that I put out already. Like it will never it will never come out.
That's like a lot of it I'm just like I hate this from listening to it 200 times.
Yeah.
So I have to just put it away so I can pull it out and then I'll like it.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know?
Totally.
So that's like kind of an annoying thing that I do, but
So when you're A&Ring for your label, what is that process like for you? How are you are
um
people sending you records to sign? Are you out there searching for the
people
next person to represent your label?
I'm usually like watching people and then I'm like I'll like meet them out, they'll have a good vibe, or like we'll be like internet friends, or I'll be like, who is this amazing person? Why aren't they on a label? Why are they just sending me bootlegs or like whatever? And that's usually kind of how it goes. It's kind of different
Do you have to
with
like them personally to
every
sign them?
I mean, I'm not working with anybody unless I like them personally.
That is incredible. Well,
Yeah, I'm too
in the
old.
music industry, that's an incredible
I
statement.
mean, it's not the best like for money, but like
That's
every
awesome.
time I work with somebody I don't like personally, I like learn my lesson.
That is
And I'm
so
like,
awesome.
I had a feeling that, obviously there's like some promoters and some people that you're like, yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
really feeling that person, but kind of have to go back there or like whatever. But that's like a different thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. How do you how is your relationship with two is your does he tour as well? Or does your partner tour as well?
Not as much as me.
Okay.
He's starting to do more like cool scoring and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And
But we
did
DJ
does
in New York a lot
you do? Do you
together.
have a
Yeah.
project together?
No, hell no.
I love creative couples. That is you. That sounds like fun. You know, if you're gonna be in a nightclub, at least you can be with your partner. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah. I mean,
awesome.
it's cool being with somebody who will like go to everything
Right. Do you have the same
and
taste in music?
kind of. He for the most part, yes. But it's like a little bit different. He likes like a lot more jungle. Even though I
Oh,
started in jungle and drum and bass, but
right.
he's like way more into it now. But we both like mostly the same things.
Yeah. Amazing. What is
Yeah.
your this is the last question I'll ask you before I dive into your bio. What is your crate digging process? I just selfishly like to ask all DJs
Oh,
this because like how do you organize your music? Where do you find your music? What is your process in prepping for a gig?
okay. So here's my process. With crate digging has changed so much from earlier on because there's just so much more music.
Yeah.
And I'll often like go on these like Bandcamp shopping sprees and then like not even play any of it ever.
That happens to me all the time.
So I kind of have to try to be like, would I have spent $10 on this physical record, like back in the day? I kind of look at it
Whoa,
like,
I would literally have half as much music if I asked myself
right,
that.
which is probably better for you.
Whoa. Because I'm always like, well, maybe there'll be one situation, at sunrise over a garbage can. Well, I want to play this. Like, and then, of
Yeah,
course,
the
I'm never
garbage
gonna.
can will like whatever you play, and it's fine. Also, I like listening to radio and mixes, and then I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I like
Really?
try to find it. That's like my best way of digging because like I don't know, everything's so noisy, right? Like
Yeah.
everything, there's just too much.
Yeah. Where
It's
like what
crazy.
radio what shows or what stations are you going
Um,
to?
I listen to the residency mixes on Radio One. I listen to the Lot Radio. I listen to Rinse FM. Obviously, I listen to NTS. Um, it
Dang.
kind of depends. And like I listen to, my background. I'm from originally from Miami, so I like a lot of freestyle and like like old dance. So I listen to a lot of older mixes as well, and like I'm like, oh, that would totally go with this like new song. So that's kind
Cool.
of,
And like,
and
so are
I
you out there like Shazamming? Like, how are you finding the records? If you're like, oh, I like this, it's in your headphones. What do you?
I trying to search track lists,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
Shazam things. There's a lot more Shazammable stuff now. YouTube. I look on YouTube is really good for digging, but that can put you in like the craziest wormholes.
And then when you're organizing, I assume you use Record Box or,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Do
So
you have
organize.
yeah? How do you organize your crates?
I organize my crates by party. So like
So you're making a crate for every party.
no, I'm adding. So like some fashion party I did last year is still getting added to because it's like remained that vibe. Like
And what do you
and
call that? Like the fashion vibe, or like how do you remember that is the vibe?
I just remember like whatever show. Let's say it was like Kenzo 2024. Like
Yeah.
I just go back to Kenzo 2024.
No way. And add in the same vibe. Whoa.
Yeah.
So are you importing your histories after you play?
Yes. Um, and also I still have Record Box from like 2015 because I refuse to update it because it's a nightmare.
Don't update it. Don't update it. Dude,
I
my
know.
computer crashed in Ibiza right before Circle Loco and I was trying to prep and crate dig and it was
You
horrific.
can't. I just FaceTime my friend today trying to help her and like there's
And
no helping.
I had to get a new computer. I got the newest record box and I hate it. I literally cannot understand. I'm like, why is this interface so wildly different? I on my playlist, it's been
It's a
hell. Good for
nightmare.
you. How do you, I mean, you must have really great backup system for your computer that you've
Oh
never
no,
had to
I am a
update it?
total mess. I am so messy. Like I'm like embarrassed to even be telling you this, but like I everything's on a hard drive. I do back up all my music, but I'm not saying it's organized. I also have a like thing where like instead of constantly adding new tunes, I just really try to get to know my best favoriteest stuff because you just so what if you play it in like 5 sets? You know what I
Dude,
mean? Like
I used to kill myself to be like every set has to be complete. It's like that is not when you're flying all over the world playing three different countries.
right.
Like what? You like the track? Play the track. Yeah, I struggled with that for a while, and that
Again,
became absurd.
when you buy the $20 record, you're
Dude,
gonna be playing that every set. You know?
that is such. I'm gonna ask myself that question next time. That is a
Yeah.
great. I'm like
It's
here
just
I am
like
spending $80 at Beatport every week. Like what happened?
all the time. I mean, I spent so much, especially during lockdown. I was like,
Dude, right?
so
Ugh. Well,
yeah,
I mean, for your
like
radio show, like that's. I feel like that would be a lot of pressure.
that is hard, and it's monthly. It's so funny because it's monthly and it's still hard.
Dude,
Like
I mean
just
that months fly by. I get that.
it flies, like it flies by. So yeah, it's weird. Like I have like tonight I'm playing public records, right? So
Sick.
I'm opening public records. I've opened records. I've closed. I've played in the sound room. I played in the back room. I have my like old opening set, which I've added to since the last time. Just because like I have some opening songs that I love playing in the beginning of the night.
Ah, so awesome. God, what a skill set to really develop every hour of the night.
I've also been playing like I in New York like 6-7 hour sets. So like you have to understand that like I started out DJing from 10 till 4 in the morning. Like that's how you got your start in New York. Like I am an older person. I am an elder DJ.
Shut up. No.
Like bars would be like, we'll give you $150 and then like play like all night. Like that was like where I came from. So that's why New York DJs are so good. Like because
no kid, I just did an open to close set in London, and I was like, at the end, I was just
like SpongeBob meme, like against the tree.
Oh my God, doing that all the time. Woo. But it almost is like in a way, it's almost easier to do a longer set. I mean, that's a very long set, but just because a shorter set, like I just played Arc. It was an hour. I just lost my computer, so I did. It was like you have to just play bangers. It just has to be quick. Like
right.
You know, you can't like feel it out. You can't lean into it. Like oh man, that was actually really. I was really bad.
Yeah.
Like,
so when I do an hour, when I do a festival now, I'm like, oh my God, I have 1 hour. Like, I think I usually play like 2 to 3 hours in New York average.
Wow.
I play a lot of New York clubs, so sometimes it's a little more now.
I feel like sometimes, also I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like your mixes can be kind of quick sometimes. No.
Yeah. My mixes.
So like, how many tracks are you playing in an hour?
In an hour, 20.
No. Oh my God.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, that's a lot to me. I'm like a solid like 7-minute tracks is like my sweet spot.
Yeah, no, I'm playing. I measure it out 20 per hour.
Oh my God. You are working. You are out there working. I'm like in the club drinking.
Labor over here. I told you we have to work harder here. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to read your little blurb and then ask you a few questions, and then you can get back to your family.
Thank you.
And also, please feel free to check your phone. We can edit this.
Yeah, I will. Okay. I'm sorry.
Good.
I've never
No,
done
please
this
do.
in my
This
life,
is like so much more important. I'll never forget when I got the phone call and my brother was having a kid. So cool. You are listening to Femme House Radio with your host, LP Giobbi, and this week we have Brooklyn-based DJ and producer Jubilee. She's rocked the world's biggest stages and headline clubs on literally every continent, from Berlin's Berghain, Barcelona's Nizza, and Chicago's Smart Bar to festivals as diverse as Lollapalooza, Lightning in a Bottle, Unsound Sonar, Boomtown, Disrupt Festival in Mumbai, Bass Coast, and Bestival. Not to mention rocking 4 boiler room sessions and playing every important club in New York City 100 times over. You can check Jubilee's selection of cutting-edge dubs and deep cuts in her recent BBC Essential Mix from February 2024, as well as on her monthly The Lot radio show, or her Lauded DJ mixes, which landed her a residency on BBC Radio 1 in 2018. With outlets like Pitchfork, Resident Advisor, Beatport, Billboard, and Crack Mag regularly writing about her music, and even a surprise appearance as the DJ in the infamous Bangers Only episode of Succession, it's no surprise that Mix Mag named Jubilee one of the DJs who defined the year in 2023. Welcome to Femme House Radio. It's an honor to have you. We are huge fans.
Hello.
Hello. This Succession episode... Sorry, can we just really quickly talk? How crazy was that?
Like, New York is so funny because you just wind up, like, doing these things. And, like, it's not that crazy if you live here, but it actually happened, and then it happened to be that episode. And, like, I didn't know that was going to be the script. Like, you know, like, I just got this call from somebody I know, like, do you want to be in this episode? And, like, this was, like, full lockdown. Like the testing that we had to do for set with HBO was, like, totally insane. So, like, I had nothing to do. Like, I was just like, okay. Like, my friend does casting. There was a bunch of... They wanted that party in that scene to be all women. So, like, you know,
It's amazing.
it was just funny. Like,
I mean, that show is
I,
incredible. I think
it's
that's
great. And
wild.
it was just kind of like, I'm not going to say no to this.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
I
then
mean,
it
that
wound
is,
up being like such a funny episode. And like, you could barely see me in it. Like, you can see me, but it is super
that's
funny. But
so
yeah,
awesome. So let's
it
back up
happened.
a step. Tell us your origin story. How did you end up as a producer and DJ?
I was just a raver in Miami, and it wasn't cool. It was like I was way too young to be in the club when I started. I was like 15, 16 years old.
No. Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I, I just was just doing it. And then I moved to New York because I was reading about all these clubs in New York. And like, I don't know, I just was like, oh my God, rave music is more popular there. And I moved there, and like I was just kind of like going out a lot and hanging out. And eventually this promoter was like, hey, we have like this headliner upstairs, like their drum and bass party. He's like, you're always here, you have a cute group of friends, like why don't you and your friends just like take over the basement and like play CDs. So I didn't really like know how to I didn't know what I was doing. And like me and my girlfriends would just, and I was really into like Miami bass because obviously it
Right.
was morphed with dance music and ghetto tech and like DJ Assault and all that stuff. So but there'd be like some drum and bass like headliner in the main room, and then I'd be playing like ass and titties in the basement. Like, and it just kind of, I wasn't trying to like break into any scene. I wasn't
No
trying
way.
to, I was just kind of there and liked it and was on the dance floor a lot. And I was in message boards and just like into music. And then like I did some of those and it just grew like kind of from
Wow.
there. But I was like, also it was at a time where like you didn't make money doing this, you know? Like dance
No,
music was not popular. People were
no
like,
God towers and DJs. Yeah.
no, there was like not like the word EDM didn't even exist. Like, so
That is,
it just
what
kind
a
of like went.
time.
I know, it was like utopia. No. It was like us begging bars, like, can we please play something other than Britney Spears at this bar, you know?
No way.
Yeah, and it just kind of grew. Like, I mean, I met like a crew of people that like were into the same thing, and we were all on like message boards and weird
That's
Tumblr.
incredible. Thank you for spearheading the way. That is awesome. And also just showing up for what you love.
And I
If
hate
you
saying this also, but like there weren't that many women. So like,
do you see that changing?
I
Or have
mean,
you seen that
obviously
change?
now it's like I don't even see any men at this point.
No.
Like Bushwick
Really?
is like where I live, like it's like we've like kind of reached the final boss here where like it's like so different from when I started. Like no one is
Wow.
straight. Like it's just like sick. All right, we're
Totally.
almost there. Like how can we make society like this?
So awesome.
It's pretty
Yeah.
great because I forget who I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. I had to be around a lot of not so great people to like get where I got because that's all there was.
Right.
Just like kind of,
Right.
not that great men, industry people, and like, yes, that still obviously exists now. Like, of course it does. But the things that have been said and done to me in the past would never happen now. Or like,
Wow.
if it did, I would be able to say something without being like completely shut out of the industry.
Totally.
Obviously, that still happens, and we all know that because we've watched it,
Yeah.
but it's way less common
Totally.
than it was then.
I was in the industry side of things when I first started out, and man, looking back now, like that wasn't okay. Like what
No, 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 no.
how I was
Like,
talked to and how, yeah, that but that was just part of being in the music industry, which is so wild.
yeah.
Well, speaking of making your own spaces, tell us about your Magic City record label and party series, which was awarded the best record label in 2023 by DJ Mag.
We did
That's a huge
it.
accomplishment.
Actually, you were on the cover of that issue.
Oh my God.
So your face is in my living room.
No
on display.
way. You know what's so funny is I haven't even read that issue yet. Okay, that is
Yeah.
that is well. Congrats. How did that come to be? How did that? I mean, obviously should be getting your flowers, and so
I don't know. I
good.
like just got tagged on Twitter and it was like these are the nominees and like I don't like really look at my replies that much, so like someone like follow like reposted it and I was like, "What?" Like,
No way.
yeah.
So they didn't even reach out to you, or like it was just you just saw it on
I
social
think they
media.
I think like after they tweeted it they did.
Yeah.
Like somebody had to have reached out to me like after, I think. But I found out like through getting tagged on Twitter and I was
That is
just kind of like,
incredible.
I'm
What led you to
sorry.
start it?
It was a compilation um that I had actually I was just thinking it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
I
Gotta do a big
started a
party.
compilation with the record or the clothing line and store opening ceremony.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't it just like was this like
Your
funny.
life is wild.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm like I should talk about this stuff. Um yeah, we like I did some events for them and we like really got along and I want they had like a really cool blog like back in the day with like music and like
Cool.
mixtapes. Um and I wanted to do a compilation and it's so crazy how the industry changes because 10 years ago when I wanted to do that I was like, okay, this is on SoundCloud for download and that's it. Because that's like all like Spotify wasn't even that crazy then.
Wow.
Like
Wow. What a trip.
so we just did it as like we did it in collaboration with WeTransfer, I think.
How awesome.
Yeah. And like it was part of their blog and then we had a party together and they like we like promoted it together. So I did four compilations
Dude,
of like 14 songs each or something.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, like kind of the same A&R that I do now. Like a lot of artists that I really liked that didn't have a home for certain songs or wanted to make something a little more out of the ordinary from what they usually did.
Yeah.
And I was like, the theme is Miami because Magic City is like a nickname for Miami.
Got it. Okay.
Well, I was like, do whatever you want, but the theme is Miami. Like, I'm not trying to make you do some like strip club anthem or whatever. Um,
Incredible.
but yeah, like it started out like that, and then again during lockdown, I was like, well, I have two albums out on Mixpack Records, and they kind of encouraged me to do this. Dre Skull,
Amazing.
who leads Mixpack, like was like kind of like a mentor to me,
Hell yeah.
and he was like, you should like we're a crew, but like you should also have your own thing and like build a brand through that. You know, like I think you'd be
Smart.
really strong if you like also did this in addition to be with us. So
Awesome.
that
That is
was
so
really
awesome.
like a cool thing for him to tell me to do because
Yeah.
then I started, I put out two albums on Mixpack and then I was like, well, I'm just going to start I'd like to put out my own things on my own
Yeah.
schedule. We've all waited
Yeah.
for music to come out for so long.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You don't say.
So I just did that and like,
That's awesome.
it's hard because it's just me and
Wow. What?
yeah. I have
It's a
a girl
lot of
named
work.
Natasha, shout out her, that helps me out a lot with like now that like things have gotten way more real with like contracting
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that. Like, but it really is like pretty much me. I don't even have a manager. I'm doing everything myself.
What?
Yeah, my
Oh,
brain.
you are another level of badass. That
Yeah.
is so awesome.
It's hard, but like it's just the way things are right now. And
Well, and also you have full control, which is pretty amazing.
I do. I definitely need help and I'm working
Yeah.
on that.
I would guess. I mean,
Just
you're
because like
busy.
things got crazy. Like
Yeah.
I like after lockdown was like I'm gonna chill out because I was really touring before, and then like I kind of pulled back and then actually got like bigger. I won that. I got the essential mix. Like I'm
Dude.
like, all right, there's
Whoa.
no chilling out.
Oh, that's incredible. A final question for you. What advice would you give your younger self?
My younger self, I would just give the advice that people actually gave me and I didn't listen. Um, This is when you're starting out, like that's a fun part. Like, and like stop thinking about like I need to do this thing, or like I'm not here yet, so I didn't make it, or like I just like wish everybody would just like chill and realize that this is like a saturated industry and make music and like enjoy the process of it.
The
Because
building is the
like
best part. Yep.
that is the best part. And when you do get to a certain level where you're like blowing up or whatever you wanted to do, you're gonna be like, damn, I miss when I was like figuring out this plugin
That is
and having
so
that
true.
first aha moment, or like that collab for the first time that like really gelled.
Yep.
And like I wish that people I know that like social media makes everything look like everything's so easy and should be happening to you immediately, but I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm like just starting to feel okay.
Hell yes.
So like
That's really, really great words of wisdom. I feel
I
that. I feel that
try.
hardcore. Thank you.
I
Thank
just
you for
like
being
see these posts and I'm like, I just want to reach out to every person and be
totally.
like, you're doing great. Chill.
And like enjoy this moment. Let go of
Yeah.
the fear and the anxiety, because this moment's actually, you're gonna look back and be like, that was awesome. I know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being a guest on Femme House Radio. We love you. We love your energy. We love your music. We love your personality. We're so grateful that you're out in the world changing the industry. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to chat finally.
Yeah.